Today, with the stroke of a pen, President Donald Trump signed an executive order charging a 25% tariff on all foreign-made vehicles. Thank you for joining us tonight for CBS News Detroit at 11. I'm Terrence Friday. That includes American brands that are made overseas, and it's likely to increase the prices for consumers. CBS News Detroit's Terrell Bailey starts us off with how this move could have a major impact on our consumers here.
Yeah, good evening, Terrence. Big changes are coming to the auto industry. Now, these tariffs will also include American companies that manufacture their cars overseas, which ultimately could cost you, the consumer, more.
What we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff.
President Trump calling the move the beginning of Liberation Day for America, as new tariffs are imminent. If you're on the hunt for a new or used vehicle, expect some sticker shock.
If we see a lot of people who no longer are buying new cars go to previously owned models, that's going to drive those prices up.
According to the White House, the tariffs will apply to all imported vehicles as well as key auto parts like engines and transmissions. The plan is designed to push companies to open more factories in America.
Business is coming back to the United States so that they don't have to pay tariffs, and I think also because of November 5th, the election.
Congresswoman Debbie Dingell put out a statement in lieu of the news. She says, in part, today's announcement appears to be a step towards onshoring supply chains and bringing manufacturing back to our country. Tariffs, when applied strategically, are a valuable tool to support American manufacturing and competitiveness, and I will work with anyone to support these goals. We need to remember we must allow the auto companies and suppliers the time they need to adjust. Production changes can't take place overnight.
To put up an entirely new plant, say to produce a Hyundai or a Toyota or a Mercedes product, could take 2, 3, 4 years.
The tariffs will also apply to American brands that manufacture cars overseas. According to Cox Automotive, this latest hike could cause a multitude of short and long-term effects, from production delays to a shorter supply.
There are a couple brands that, if this impacts their sales substantially, they may have to really think about whether to remain in the U.S. market.
Now, the tariffs are expected to take effect on April the 2nd, and nearly half of all vehicles that are sold in America, Terrence, are imported. According to Paul, it actually may take years for America to really begin to see those positive effects of the tariffs.
All right, we'll just have to keep watching and see. Hopefully it doesn't affect people too much.
Yeah, a very big story, though.
Yeah. All right. It is clear, though, that Canada does not like Trump's tariffs. You've probably seen billboards like this one on M5 and 14 Mile. It reads, "Tariffs are a tax on your grocery bill," with a note saying that it was paid for by the government of Canada. We reached out to federal officials in Canada for confirmation on the ad campaign, but at this point, we have not heard back. Meanwhile, GM, Stellantis, and Ford all have manufacturing plants in 3 countries which will be affected by these tariffs. CBS News Detroit's Walter Murphy spoke with a professor of business from Wayne State University about what this means for employee job stability.
President Trump's announcement that tariffs on all cars imported from Canada, Mexico, and China sent ripple effects across Wall Street on Wednesday afternoon as investors weighed the impact to the U.S. economy.
You would expect that the cost of the vehicles would go up and that the companies would, as a result, lose revenue and lose profitability.
Professor of Business Merrick Masters says that's the short-term ramifications of Wednesday's announcement for President Trump. But in the long term,
I think what he wants to negotiate, and the auto company executives are going to meet with him this week, he wants a commitment from them that they're going to make more of their vehicles in the U.S.
President of the United Auto Workers Union, Shawn Fain, applauded the news, saying that the Trump administration has essentially put an end to the, quote, free trade disaster that has devastated working-class communities for decades. The statement goes on to say that the UAW and the working class couldn't care less about party politics. Working people expect leaders to work together to deliver results.
One thing I know for certain, he wants jobs in the U.S., and he's going to negotiate in a heaven-handed way to bring as many jobs here as he possibly can.
Masters adding layoffs could be a big possibility for Detroit's largest employers, GM, Stellantis, and Ford.
And it'll be painful to watch, and let's hope it's more painful to watch than it is to actually suffer from if the impacts are as severe as could be contemplated.
I'm Walter Murphy for CBS News, Detroit.